And after rebuking the nation, the leaders of the tribes are there. 2 gorolot, 2 lots are chosen, correct? One for the respective tribe to be the king, and the lot of Binyamin is chosen, correct? And then of the families of Binyamin, the Matri family, and then a third lot, Shaul ben Kish. The nation has to be happy, shouldn't it be? Because it was their request to have a king. Yet, they look for him here and there, and they can't find him. So, what else does Israel have in their weaponry, their spiritual weaponry? And that is the Urim v'Tumim. The Urim v'Tumim are used, namely the Kohen Gadol. Some of you asked after the shur yesterday which specific Kohen Gadol. We don't know exactly. The Tanakh here doesn't say. We could suggest that it's the Kohen Gadol that we saw. What was his name? Achimatz ben Achituv in Nov. It could be Achimatz ben Achituv. I don't remember. It's not material right now. However, after the usage of the Urim v'Tumim is there, Hashem, in a prophecy or to the Kohen Gadol, informs that Nechbala Kilim, he's hiding. People that have arrived to put down their knapsacks, their supply matters, and who knows, there's a lot of piles of cartons or bags, whatever, and he's hiding out there. It sounds like an exceeding level, okay? An exceeding level of modesty. And we're asking ourselves, why is it? We learned that because of the tzniut of Shaul, Chazal said, he merits to have someone like Esther come out of him in the lineage of generations. And also, this is an ideal attribute for the king of Israel. Because if the king of Israel will be chosen based upon his wishes for fabulous living, luxurious living, power, control, hungry person, then we're in trouble. But here we see that he's hiding. There's a chazal that I didn't bring yesterday, that I heard also in a shur from Rav Castillo, that, are you sure it's me? Maybe it's someone else. He's like asking questions regarding the decision of God. Maybe it was meant for that tribe or a different family. In other words, we see clearly, according to Chazal, that Shaul is not looking for this position whatsoever. However, when the Urim v'Tumim make a choice, let us see what happens to Shaul. That's point number one. Point number two, what is so complex about having a king of Israel? Number one, it would generally be the choice of the nation. The nation is looking for a king, and the hope is that the king will be able to fulfill his position in Aleph, supplying the needs of the nation, the physical, financial, everyday needs of the nation. But that's not enough. What happens if he no longer is desirable by the nation? Therefore, we need the input of Hashem. If Shaul will understand that it's not the decision just having a king, but he is the one that Hashem wants them to have, then it's a different story. He's now being backed up. If he doesn't have a mandate from the nation to continue being king, but Hashem wants him here. But the first point that we made, he has to have support, widespread support of the nation. And one of his matters is he may think that he's not wanted or the nation is not backing him up. Therefore, he's willing to show exceeding modesty by hiding. But now that there's the involvement of the Urim v'Tumim, let's see the reaction of the nation. Pasuk Kav Gimel, verse 23. Vayarutzu, vayikachu misham, ויתייצב בתוך העם, ויגבה מכל העם משכמו ומעלה. They don't just walk over to the area where Shaul is hiding, they run. Usually running denotes enthusiasm, hitlavut. They're enthused. Wow! There's the involvement of the Urim V'Tumim. Hashem wants him. Let's go get him. And now he's brought by representatives of the nation. And he's standing in the middle. You see, he's like a 6'4", 6'5" footer. He's so tall, both in attributes and in physical height. And now Shmuel sees he's forthcoming. He's appearing. Now is the time for Shmuel to give a speech about something in particular that's needed. Let's see. Pasuk of Daled. Vayomer Shmuel el kol ha'am. The people gathered there. He opens up with a speech. Hari'item asher bachar bo Adonai? Ki ein kamo b'chol ha'am. Vayariu chol ha'am vayomru Yechi HaMelech. Don't continue. Just those two words. You're restraining yourself. There you go. Okay. You know what I'm talking about? You can ask the Chabadnik afterwards.
Oh.
Yechi HaMelech. You know what we're talking about? Okay, Tom. Gentlemen, here in Pasuk Kav Daled, Shmuel begins to, here he is. This is who you wanted. This is who Hashem chose. And now we need the national support. And they're roaring. They're cheering. They're so happy. And therefore they give him a bracha, Yechi HaMelech. But that's not enough. If until now, Shmuel, in one of our former chapters, taught everyone what is Mishpat HaMelech. What is Mishpat HaMelech? Do we remember that the Melech has total rights to take you as a driver, and you as a pharmacist, and you as a baker, and you as a detective? He can take you away from your private life, and you have to succumb. You have to give in and do whatever the Melech wants. That's called Mishpat HaMelech. Now, we're going to see what is a little different, what is called Mishpat HaMelucha. And we're going to ask ourselves, what is different? Okay, let's read it. Vayidaber Shmuel el ha'am et Mishpat HaMelucha vayichtov b'Sefer vayanach vayanach lifnei Adonai vayishalach Shmuel et kol ha'am ish uveito. What is Mishpat HaMelech, HaMelucha, I'm sorry, as opposed to Mishpat HaMelech? If Mishpat HaMelech are the unlimited rights of a king to expropriate, to take advantage of you in you're a great plumber, you're going to be my plumber. If he has the rights, and that's Mishpat HaMelech, what will be Mishpat HaMelucha?
Like taxes or something?
It'll be the obligations of the people. Not only does the king have unlimited powers, but now Mishpat HaMelucha, you. Do you know the law of the king? Is that you, the kingdom, is that you have to have kavod for the melech. You have to have yirah, fear of the king. In other words, if we already studied what is incumbent towards the king, right now we're going to learn what's incumbent upon the nation as far as kavod, what their chovot are, as far as yirah is concerned. And Shmuel decides to put this in writing. Vayichtov b'Sefer vayanach lifnei Hashem. It's placed in a very impressive place. How would we explain the term lifnei Hashem? Where should it be? Until, let's be consistent, what? By the ark. The Aron HaKodesh, we know, is stationed in the city of... No. What? Kiryat Yarim. Right, Kiryat Yarim. It's steady there right now. It'll be there for a while. So here we have Mishpat HaMelucha. What are the laws as far as the honor, the fear of the king? And this is all in this big assembly. And now what do we see? Vayishalach Shmuel a call. Everyone goes home. Everyone goes home. What about Shaul? Now we're going to read Pasuk Kavav. And we're going to try to understand it in relationship to the end of the Pasuk and as well as the last Pasuk. The Tanakh shares with us that Vigam Shaul halach leveito. Question, good or bad? Everyone went home. He also went home. What is the Tanakh indicating? Raising a question. The second part of the Pasuk is, I'm sorry, I didn't finish. Vigam Shaul halach leveito givata. Where is Givata? Where is this Giva?
Where the saints.
Givat Shaul. You want to say it's Givat Shaul?
No. It's where the saints are thinking.
So you want to say the Tanachic Givat Shaul? I didn't mean next door to Kiryat Moshe. I know that's your question, right? Let's see. Is that where he's from? Is that the area where he's from? Givata. Second, Vayelchu imo hachayil. There's a group, okay, of people with valor. But what people? Asher naga Elokim belibam. Asher naga Elokim belibam. Rashi brings the Targum of Yonatan ben Uziel. We're talking about the people that have fear of the king. There's a select group. They're going with him. But if I understand that this is a select group, that means Shaul does not see a majority of the people giving him support. Once he sees that he's not getting support on a full way, now remember, this is a prerequisite. To be a king over Israel, you must have full support. But he doesn't see it. It was theoretical until now, and he doesn't see it in the real world, and he decides that he's not going to make anything an issue about this matter of being king. He goes home. Instead of, building a palace or using special rights and beginning the building of a palace, he does not do that because he sees only a small group backing him. Do you remember David HaMelech? When he was king over Yehuda, it took 7 years. Why did David wait to become king over all of Israel? Because he didn't have full support. You can't force upon the nation, upon the multitudes of people, that you're going to be the ruler, the governor, the king over them unless they're backing you. This, perhaps, is what Shaul sees. Okay? Only part of the nation, Hachayo, Yirei Hashem, only a small group of people that have fear of God, as the Targum explains and Rashi brings him, that those are the people, they're willing to do mishpat hamelucha, honor, give reverence and fear to the king, and therefore doesn't make an issue out of it. He goes home. Furthermore, if we see this together with the last pasuk of the chapter, do you see it? Uvnei v'liya'al amru, Uma yoshienu zeh, vayivzu, v'lo hiviu lo mincha, vahi kemachrish. A second example where you see he doesn't have white support. Not only does he not have white support, but there are people, a group of Bnei Bilial. We've seen that in the Tanakh. We saw it regarding Lot, and also maybe Giva, Pilegesh Begiva. We saw that specifically, and it's a play on word Bilial, Beli, Ol, without a yoke. Without respect and honor and fear to someone that you should have fear. Okay? It could be to God. In this case, it's without accepting the leadership of Shaul. There's the group. What is this guy going to save us? And not only are they reacting in a negative way, but vayivzu, they disgrace him, which is like a clear violation of, you're not allowed to disgrace the king. If there would be a royal guard, they would shoot these guys right on the spot, right? but they're not doing it because he doesn't have full support. And there's a group that not only not giving full support, but they're disgracing him. Vayivzu bizayon, like the vazototo. What is the reaction of Shaul? Vayike machrish. He made himself like a cheresh, like a deaf and dumb person. Instead of getting a guard together and going up against those people that are disgracing him, doesn't say a word, doesn't react. He made himself like a cheresh. On the one hand, you see that this is great anava, great humility. I don't have the great support. I'm not going to act like a king. I'm not going to react. The Gemara, though, in Masechet Yoma, 1 second, sir. The Gemara Masechet Yoma, page 22, Kavbet Af Aleph, says, do you know why later Shaul was punished? Because he was mochel al kvodo. Okay? He was pardoning, giving up his own honor. He's like, okay, whatever you do, I agree. I'm not worthy of becoming a king, but it shouldn't have happened. He should have gone to this exceeding way. In other words, so much anava that he has, he should have acted like a king. Action should have been taken, something to be done. Because the Gemara does say, Melech shemachal al kvodo, kvodo lo machol. Okay? Okay? Because it's not his honor, it's the honor of God. A melech of the Jewish people is a manifestation of godliness. The Malchut of Am Yisrael is supposed to be mirroring what's going up in heaven. That he is the Melech of the world. And now, in small, over Am Yisrael is the Melech. So, here, he went overboard. It was Mochel al Kvodo, because it's Kvoda Makom. That's what the Gemara or the Marsha, one of the later Achronim, explains. And here, it's making a big mistake. And that's how the parak ends. Your question, Asher.
Two observations and two questions. First one is regarding the personality of Shaul. I understand to a certain level that he is being very modest and he is being, humble of what.
Very humble.
However, when someone chooses you, when the nation chooses you, and most importantly, Hashem chose him. And I think you need to have the personality of considering yourself, it's not me that I chose myself, but Hashem chose me, and he should have been a little bit.
So you're now describing what we're saying. We're saying this.
Yeah,
he made a mistake here. Exactly. He's used exceeding humility.
And that is one reason I would say why the nation, some of the people on the army show were not supporting him. That was one thing I would say.
That's hard for us to say. Is that the reason? Right now, we don't see de facto that they're coming out with wide support. Yeah. There was enthusiasm. They're running to bring him. There was support there in Mitzvah. But maybe the next coming weeks, months, or whatever, we don't know the time element. We don't see the support. He sees that, and he stands back.
Yeah, but however, when they say they ran, it does not mean the entire nation. It can be that specific group of people.
You're right, but maybe they're representatives of everyone else.
Exactly. It's for that reason. What I'm saying is, David HaMelech has that personality of himself.
Okay.
So that was one reason he has. I would say the honorary that he gets is more than what Saul gets, and that is the first point I saw from this pasuk that we read, that he didn't have that. He should have had that. Second is, fine, I understand that they're not accepting him as a king because he was too humble.
We don't know because. I reserve. We don't know the because. Yeah. We're saying facts here, we don't know the whys. But this is the situation, and it's showing us how complex a matter of the king of Israel is. That's what we're revealing here.
Right. I'm just reading the pasuk.
Okay, but I want to make a comment.
Yeah, second is I understand to a certain level they're not really, into the new king. However, in respect of Shmuel, the prophet, in respect of Hashem, I think it could have worked out in one way or the other. that was something. Why were they not considering the work of Shmuel the prophet? If they could have.
So that we studied the last few chapters before. They're saying we don't want Shmuel. We don't want his. We learned they don't want his direction. We don't want his leadership. It's too high. We need a king. Take over political matters and fight up against the Plishtim. That was discussed 2-3 chapters ago. Shakoch. We finished the chapters now, gentlemen. You have another question? And now let's go to the beginning of the next chapter. Here we see maybe a direct correlation between Shaul's behavior and now an attack. Pasuk Perikid Aleph, Pasuk Aleph. Vayal Nachash Amoni Vayichan al Yavesh Gilad Vayomru Kol Anshe Yavesh El Nachash Krod Lo Nuvrit V'Navdeka Vayomer Lehem Nachash Amoni Bezot Echrod Lachem Bin Kor Lachem Kol Einim, and I'll poke out all your right eyes. V'Samtia Cherpa, and I will make shame. I'll call Yisrael. Okay. First, geographically, do we all know there's a country called Ammon? And where are they? They're east of the Jordan River. Amman, the area of Amman. Okay. And here he's about to attack a neighbor, which is which direction? The Jews living in Yavesh, the Giladi Mountains, directly north, the Giladi Mountains, right? The mountain range opposite us when we go down to the Jordan River, to the Yam HaMelech area, we see Mount Nevo, maybe that's Mount Moab. Just going north are the Giladi Mountains. It's a long mountain range, goes all the way up to the Yarmukh, all the way right before the Golan Heights. We have the northern one, and we have the southern one. Now, they're about to attack Jews living in the Giladi Mountain. It could be Gad. It could be parts of half of the tribe of Menachem. But it could be, yes, it could be. It's likely. Yavesh Gilad, yes. Now, they're about to attack them, and they're camping up against them, as you see, Vayichan al Yavesh Gilad. And the Jews seem to be saying, oh, please don't do this. Maybe we'll make a what? Let's make a pact, a treaty, and, we'll be your servants. It beats, dying in a war. Okay. And he says, no. You guys, I'm going to be killing you. I'm going to take out your right eyes, and so on and so forth. What's going on? Aleph, why is it happening now? And Bet, why by Ammon? It could be, like Chazal explained, of course, that the people in Ammon feel a shame, a terrible shame, that the Jewish people and their Torah have blotted them out. Some of you know the famous pasuk in Chumash Devarim 23, regarding Gior and men of Ammon and Moab. The Torah says, Lo yavo Ammoni u'Moavi b'kal Hashem, gam dor asiri, lo yavo lem b'kal Hashem adolam. In other words, a man that does Gior from Ammon, he's not allowed to marry into the house of Israel. The house of Israel, meaning he has to marry a Gioret, a Mamzeret, all the less kosher Jews that the Mishnah enumerates in chapter 4, Mishnah 1, in Masechet Kiddushin, when it talks about Asara Yuchasin, 10 different lineages came up from Bavel. They feel that this is a shame. What? We can't, after doing Gior, go into the congregation of God in marriage? Okay? They feel a sense of inferiority. Now, let's put, why is it? Why is it so that the nation of Ammon, like Moab, is not allowed, after doing Gior, to marry into Kahal Hashem? So the Torah here in Devarim Yud Gimel says the following, the reason. What does the Torah say? Regarding this matter, Al Devar, you can open up if you have a Tanakh right now, Kaf Gimel, Pasukei of Devarim, Deuteronomy, Kaf Gimel, hey? Regarding the following, Al Devar, regarding the matter, Asher lo kidmu etchem balechem uvamayim, baderech b'tzeitchem mitzvah. I'm reading the book of Devarim, chapter 23, verse 5. And so on and so forth. Let's go back. The nation called Ammon stems from Lot. Lot had relations while being a drunkard with his two daughters. From them came out the two individuals, and then after hundreds of years they turned into nations, and they have land on the other side of the Jordan River. Lot, Ammon and Moab. Had it not been for Lot, and had it not been for Lot being the nephew of Avram Avinu, then this kindness would not appear. Kaf Gemol. So they really are the benefactors of the Jewish people. Because they're related through Lot to the Jewish people, they should be worthy of giving thanks to the Jewish people, worthy of doing chesed to the Jewish people. However, hundreds of years later, when we're traveling, and now we're in the 40th, 39th or 40th year of our desert journey, and we're passing by the nations called Ammon and Moab, they were not exactly waiting on line to help out the Jewish people and do chesed with them. On the contrary, they're not interested. They're not interested in doing chesed. They should have been. They should have been saying thank you to the Jewish people that they're alive and that Lot was saved because of Avram Avinu. Had Lot not been saved because of Avram Avinu, they would not be in existence. So you would have think that they would have what's called the basic appreciation, hakarat tov, to be gracious and say thank you. But, well, they're not that way. They didn't come out when we're hundreds of, oh, can we help you, the Jewish people, give you some water, give you some bread? No, they didn't do that. For these type of people, it's not worth doing chesed with them. We can prove it later in Shmuel Bet. When the king of Ammon dies, David HaMelech says, internationally, I think it would be a good thing to show neighborly relations to Ammon. I'm going to send a group to pay a consolation call. Sends a group to play a consolation call. That's right. What does the goal of the king of Ammon, what does he do? He suspects this is a trap or something. This can be chesed. And he humiliates the party, the group that arrives, cuts off after their beards, their clothing, undresses them, and sends them back, humiliates them. What do you see? You come to do a chesed with the people like this, they don't care for your chesed.
Isn't it also like he killed someone's family?
Yes. David thought that he would be able to hide some of his family abroad when Shaul is in pursuit of David, and they were killed there as well. So we see that the entity of Ammon is like the antithesis, the opposite of what the Jewish people stand for. The Jewish people stand for what? For chesed, for giving, for doing goodness. Okay? Thank you for the water. The chesed that you're doing for me. So here, at Sinai, Hashem knows exactly what's in their hearts, what's in their souls. And Hashem declares that a man from Ammon, if he does Gior, he can't marry into the congregation of God. He can't marry a Bat Kohen or regular Bat Levi or a Bat Yisrael, only like a Mamzeret or Gioret, and so on and so forth. The Chazal say he feels the shame. That's number one. Number two, what chesed did Yavesh Gilad do during the time of Pilegesh Begiva? Do you remember?
It wasn't a chesed. They killed all the men there.
Slowly. After men of Binyamin were killed and no one is allowed to marry their wives, I know, but what did we learn, Ken, regarding the Giladi people? Who did they send to marry? They send their girls to be married by the people of Binyamin because there was a prohibition that no one is allowed to marry into it. There's a very special kesher between the Gilad people, you're saying they're from Menachem, and the tribe of Binyamin. Now Ammon knows that there's a new leader for the Jewish people, the first time, and he's from the tribe of Binyamin. I'm gonna do a tough thing to the Binyamin people. I'm going to attack the Yavesh Gilad people who have had a long time Brit regarding Binyamin, and I'm going to hit them hard. So we see here, and the Malbim explains this point, is that the kingdom of Ammon, they have this jealousy for that there's now a new independent kingdom on the other side of the Jordan River, and now he wants to provoke them. Now in Eretz Yisrael, there's noise. There's like an earthquake. There's a new kingdom going on here in Eretz Yisrael. Nachash says, I don't want this kingdom. And of course, like we said before, Shaul and the tribe of Binyamin have family in Yavesh Gilad. There were marriages a few hundred, we don't know if it's 100 years ago, because remember during Pelegesh Bigiva, there was an Isur, a prohibition, as a punishment. Remember after the Civil War, to marry with Binyamin. And who did the men of Binyamin marry? The daughters of Menachem in Yavesh Gilad. So therefore, if I want to attack the honor of the new kingdom of Shaul, what I will do is I will go and attack Yavesh Gilad. Not only that, they're saying, I'm going to knock out. I'm not interested. We offer a pact. We offer a treaty. No, we're going to poke out your eyes. What does the ayin yamin mean? What does that stand for, gentlemen? Ayin yamin, the right eye. I want to belittle you. I want to shame you. I'm going to poke out your eye. Okay? So right now, we have a new situation on the other side of the Jordan River. Our brothers are about to be attacked, about to be killed, and it's a shame, Aleph, to Am Yisrael. It's a shame to the tribe of Binyamin, and now the new leader, Shaul. The question is, will Shaul act or not? Will he stand up? He's now having a test. Some say that this test is coming as a punishment, that you said, Usher, that he didn't go forward and maybe stand in line and act properly. Why was he quiet when people shamed him? Kemachrish, he was quiet. You follow? It's all happening now. Let's see the developments. Pasuk Gimel. Vayamru elav ziknei Yavesh. That's the name of the town, Yavesh Gilad. The elders, the scholars of this area. What do they say to the king that's about to attack them? Time out. How do I know it says time out? Heref lanu shivat yamim. Can you give it, wait for us about 7 days? Can you stall the attack? Does that sound logical? V'nishlacha malachim, will send agents out. Bechol gevul Yisrael. V'me'ein moshia otanu. V'yatzanu elecha. What does, and it sounds weird, doesn't it? Can you please hold off your attack for 7 days? We're going to send agents all over the country to see if we can get some help. What's going on? Why would you think that they'd be gullible to accept such an offer? Why would they accept such an offer? Anyone have an idea?
It's a trick, maybe.
What kind of trick?
I don't know, it seems like some sort of try to instruct them or a deviation.
I think that is logical in terms of how long they ask for. So that if someone does show is in a mobilized nation, they need time to do that. But I think maybe it has to do more with the arrogance of Ammon, that they think that all of Israel is going to fall into their hands. So they said, what does it make a difference? If my intention is to shame Israel, I'll give them 7 days and let's make it worse.
In other words, you want to shame Israel? It says, "V'samtia cherpa al kol Yisrael." Did you see that in Pasuk Bet? He wants to make shame to the entire nation. Okay, so let me get representatives of the nation. Give me 7 days. I'll get representatives from the entire nation, and then let's see who's talking, who's the boss. Are you the boss? Can you really shame the entire nation or not? And that's what some of the Mefarshim really say. So let's see if it works. Pasuk Daled. Vayavo amalachim givat Shaul. They cross the Jordan River. And they get to Givat Shaul, and as we said before, no, it's not the neighbor next to Kiryat Moshe.
Malachim?
What?
Angels? Malachim?
Malachim here mean agents, right? Malachim tolerates two definitions: angels and shlichim, messengers. Rashi in Parshat Vayeshev, when it says that Avram Yaakov Avinu sends angels. 2 words that Rashi says, Malachim Mamash. Really, he really said angels. That's what Rashi says there in the name of Chazal. In other words, Yaakov Avinu has in his what is it called? In his wagon, in his upper sleeve, in his appentoire. What is that word called? Entourage. I don't know what the word is. He can send angels. We're an angelic nation. He can send angels. So here, though, it means the pshat. He's sending out agents, scouts. They get to give Achil. They meet up with a lot of people there, and they tell like it is the upcoming attack. What is the reaction of the nation? The end of Pasuk Daled, the end of verse 4. Vayisu cholam et kolam, vayifku. Okay. So it sounds like fear, doesn't it? Fear, which doesn't sound good because when you go to war, psychological warfare is part of an attack, and if they catch us with fear, then we're really in trouble.
Talk that shows is still not accepted by
And that's right. Right now we're going to see how he acts. By the way, there were people accepting him, but not enough. And I'm sure there are people even bringing him gifts. When a person rises to a new position, a high, lofty position, it's often you give him a gift and so on and so forth. Those people that denounced him didn't bring him a gift. Well, we can understand there were others that did give him a gift. Let's see how he acts. Pasuk. Notice the background, the narrative to Pasuk. V'hinei Shaul, behold, surprise, but he's arrived. Acharei bakar min hasadeh. Do you know where he was? He was a cowboy. He was taking care of the bakar. By the way, what is the word for a cowboy? Boker. Okay, Boker, stay Boker. Okay? He is a cowboy taking care of the bakar in the field. And what sounds unusual?
king.
A king, exactly. Here you see his management that he's not yet accepting the job. You see he's running after the bakar. Okay? So, as the Mitzvot David says, he's still managing his life as he is a commoner and not someone of royalty. And he's still dealing with the bakar. But maybe, but that maybe is still the reaction to people that are belittling him, disgracing him. What's going on? Why are you crying? What are you're reciting Tehillim, right? What's going on? He's told about the upcoming attack and that they're in fear. Pasuk Vav. Vatitzlach ruach Elohim al Shaul b'sham'o et advarim me'ela vayicharap'o me'od. Ruach Elokim. When you're in a position, in a central position, even you haven't faced facts, but the point is that God sees that you're in position, God brings on you what's called Ruach Gvura. Ruach Elokim, Yonatan ben Uziel, the Targum here, you have it? No, you don't have it? Explains, what is the Spirit of God? It's the spirit of courage to overcome difficulties, heights, and obstacles. And this is all coming from God. So right now, the spirit of courage is inside him. He's imbued, he's affected, he's uplifted. That Am Yisrael cannot be under what? An attack by Ammon. Okay? Vatitzlach ruach Elokim al Shaul b'shamo et advarim eila vayicharap'o me'od. Now he loses his cool. He's angry. He's angry. Now what happens when you're angry? You lose your? Maybe. Or you lose your seichel. Chazal say, you're right. Chazal say when you get angry, often you lose your seichel. You may act out of emotion and not out of intellect. What does the king do? By the way, we've yet to see the word king here. Pasuk Zayin, Vaikach tzemed bakar, takes a pair of cattle. Vayinatcheyu, right? Linatach, he cuts it up into pieces. Okay? Vayishalach, he uses now the Israeli postal system. Vayishalach bechol gvul Yisrael. Biyad malachim, he sends special agents throughout the country. Lemor saying, Asher einenu yotzei achrei Shaul v'achrei Shmuel ko yaseh livkaro. A threat. Anyone that doesn't come after me, meaning going to war, you know what's going to happen to you? Can I use you as a... Come on. If you don't come up to war, you're going to be cut up as well. Yeah. You can give me... You like that one? Asher likes that. He gave me...
Asher moved away from where he was sitting.
I don't want to be a part of this.
Hanan allows me to do it. He's mechila of his kavod. Gentlemen, is this good? Is this not good? Is it showing his power? Is it showing his leadership? This is what we have to understand.
It's not good.
Why is it not good?
Because it's putting fear instead of love.
And not what?
Love. Like to love him as a king.
Beautiful. We're going to see later on, when we learn about David HaMelech, that David HaMelech has the ability to round up out of honor of David, of the kingdom of Hashem, and people will willingly join the army and fight the wars of David. Here, Shaul sees he has only one way of enlisting an army right now to react and go to war against them. That is by fear. Whoever doesn't come will have to suffer. Okay? We'll treat this matter more and more.